Money worldwide.
Syracuse fans, the orange is #1. Now, Sports Illustrated honors the national champion Syracuse Orangemen with a fantastic national championship package free with your paid subscription. Start out with a special Sports Illustrated National Championship hardbound collector's issue, celebrating the Orange's run to #1. It's gold-lettered and individually numbered, a cherished keepsake you'll treasure forever. Call now and you'll also get this collectible mini basketball designed exclusively for Sports Illustrated in celebration of Syracuse's first national championship. Both are free when you order 56 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.59 an issue. Save more than 50% off the cover price. When you use your credit card, you'll get another great gift available only from Sports Illustrated. This Syracuse National Championship hat free. Celebrate the #1 team in the nation with 3 great gifts from the nation's #1 sports magazine, Sports Illustrated. Call now.
You provide for your family, but can you afford enough life insurance to make sure they're provided for in the future? Yes, you can. Over 1 million Americans have already discovered the secret to affordable life insurance. Best quote, a man 35 can purchase $400,000 in term life coverage for about $15 a month, or less than 50 cents a day.
The best way to buy insurance for less. Best quote.
Call 1-800-253-4000. That's 1-800-253-4000.
Need cash fast? Just pick up the phone now for up to $500. Qualify in 2 minutes or less. National Money Service can help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You're welcome. The money you need will be in your account tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Let us help you with unplanned car repair bills, medical bills, household repairs, or anything else you need money for. So if you need up to $500 before your next paycheck, we can help.
Call now.
Call National Money Service now.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights on Empire.
Coming up next, our main event.
For the USBA light heavyweight crown, the explosive Eric Magic Man Harding against gentleman Glen Johnson. It's going to be a boxing battle in the Bronx. It's Fox. Let's rock.
There's only one way. There's only one way. The Fox. Fox rocks.
It's the Big Apple and one of the great monuments of the Big Apple, Radio City Music Hall, the Broadway area, Manhattan. We tonight, as you take a look at Times Square, are in the Bronx and getting ready to see at Jimmy's Bronx Cafe our main event, Glen Johnson taking on Eric Harding for the USBA Light Heavyweight Championship. Rich Morano along with Sean O'Grady, Barry Tompkins on assignment tonight. As we get ready for this fight, should be a good one. 2 talented, really professional prize fighters.
Oh yeah, 2 fighters in this light heavyweight have really craved this moment. A significant fight. They've neither shied away from competition, and they realize the importance of victory tonight, and of course looking good tonight, looking like they are champions.
Well, of course, Roy Jones has moved on, and Eric Harding now feels that he is about, or can, and has the ability to take over the light heavyweight division. So much so that he's already been on the phone to Antonio Tarver and said, get ready, I'm coming after you. 30-year-old light heavyweight Eric Harding is in the prime of his boxing career with an impressive record of 21-2-1. This Philadelphia-born boxer has been top 10 rated since his controversial win against Montel Griffin in 1998, when, early in his career, he scored an upset, although hotly disputed decision victory over the former light heavyweight champ. He returned to the ring with his undefeated record against Antonio Tarver in an IBF light heavyweight eliminator 3 years ago and won a unanimous decision, earning the opportunity to meet Roy Jones Jr., who at the time held all the belts. Harding fought well, challenging Jones at times, winning rounds along the way, but after 10 rounds and a torn bicep, he was beaten.
It took me back the other way from boxing. It didn't inspire me at all, even though I was in the fight and people thought that I did pretty good, but just the business aspect of it and knowing that it was going to be a long time before me and him got in the ring to settle the score kind of turned me away from boxing a little bit.
Learning from that loss, Harding won his next 2 fights, a unanimous decision over Demetrius Jenkins, and then 6 months later, this TKO in the 7th round over talented and then undefeated George Khalid Jones. Harding remained inactive for 7 months until he faced a rematch with Antonio Tarver last July. Tarver heeded the challenge this time, was ready, and erased Harding in the 5th round.
I didn't train in between fights. I didn't train like a professional, like a world-class fighter who's looking to be the champion should train. You know, I took things for granted.
So despite only 2 professional losses and currently being ranked as high as number 6 in the world, tonight's fight against Glen Johnson poses an important point in Harding's career.
This fight, I particularly train like a winner, like a champion should train, like a world-class fighter should train. And I'm excited. I haven't fought in 8, 9, 10 months, however long it's been. I haven't even been counting. I've been training for so long. And I'm just excited again about boxing.
Well, Sean, it really sounds as though Eric has learned his lessons. He's not blowing up 40 to 50 pounds between fights anymore, and he's very confident he can go all the way.
That will really harm a fighter. Harding, 24 fights. Johnson's had 48 fights. He's had more experience, but Harding is putting a lot on the line tonight. Johnson says, I've been a victim of bad decisions in the past. That's not going to happen to me tonight. I'm going for the KO. Harding says, you know what, I got a number 6 ranking on the line. I just want the victory.
Well, it should be a good one. I'm really looking forward to this. 2 world-class, real professional fighters in the ring. Tonight, it's our main event. Johnson and Harding as Miss Liberty watches over us all here in New York.
What brings you to the Rhode Island Culinary Institute?
That's a good question.
What brings you to southern New Mexico State?
You travel many miles. Why Gestalt School of Art?
What made you decide to make the trip all the way to Memphis Polytech?
$139 a week for any mid-size budget. For irresistible prices on irresistible cars, call 1-800-BUDGET-7 or visit budget.com.
The Thompsons love to change that wall in the living room. They change it and change it. Then Gateway introduced them to the 42-inch plasma TV for under $3,000, with no payments and no interest for a whole year. Once again, they get to change that wall in the living room, and change it, and change it. Call 1-800-GATEWAY. Click, come in, and start enjoying the comforts of Gateway.
And there's a building that none other than King Kong once climbed up, the Empire State Building here in New York. And we are in the Bronx getting ready for our main event tonight. Glen Johnson taking on Eric Harding for the light heavyweight championship of the United States Boxing Association. There you see Glen Johnson. He's coming up just to the right of us. He'll go down these stairs and into the ring. It's a short ring walk. But still, Sean, you know the ring walk is unique to any sport, those final few steps going out onto the combat field.
And it's so vital for a fighter. It's the first opportunity that you have to meet this crowd and for them to meet you. You want to come out, you want to recognize a few familiar faces. It is a great feeling to walk from that dressing room into the ring, the crowd on you. Every eyeball in this arena is right now focused on Glen Johnson. Right now, Glen is running through his mind what his fight plan is going to be and how he is going to get a knockout in this fight tonight.
Detected some bitterness when we talked to Glen about the number of majority and split decisions that have gone against him in bouts that he feels that he truly won, such as his majority draw that he just had with Daniel Judah.
Well, and taking a look at his record too, he has 9 losses. He said that's been 9 split decisions, and he has 1 draw that in his last fight with Judah. He says, in these fights, I'm winning 7 out of 10 rounds. Now, what happens a lot of times to fighters is they lose a round, but think that they're winning the round, and that certainly could have an effect. And tonight, I think it will be important for him to make a statement and for him to get a victory, and he wants a KO.
Now he is waiting for Eric Harding to get into the ring.
Oh, yeah.
What about the waiting procedure? Does that really serve to your disadvantage?
That depends on who you are. If you're Glen Johnson, yes, it serves to your disadvantage. you're underneath the lights, you're in the spotlight, everybody's looking at you. Eric Harding is back in the back, he's warming up back there. He's going to make Johnson wait out here in front of the crowd, utilize some of the energy. The lights from the television cameras also take some of the steam out of you, and that's what Eric Harding wants to happen to Glen Johnson.
We mentioned
Eric Harding now making his way in.
We mentioned the fact that Eric Harding has fought for the world title against Roy Jones. Glen Johnson also fought for a world title on 2 occasions. The first one against Bernard Hopkins, though, was really taken to school in that one.
Oh, yeah, and he knows it. Bernard Hopkins, an outstanding fighter, and in that fight, Johnson even said, hey, I learned a great deal in the fight. I know I got beat, but I learned a great deal. When Eric Harding went up against Roy Jones Jr., he made a little bit of a fight of it. He won some rounds. He was in there competitively. He tried back and forth. It was a magic night for Eric Harding.
There is Eric Harding getting a big welcome here from the fans at Jimmy's Bronx Cafe.
And a lot of his handlers in the mix of that, but they are quite vociferous.
He's a quality fighter. Eric's a quality fighter, no question about it, has wins over Montel Griffin and Antonio Tarver.
Well, both of these light heavyweights are, and they're both trying to get back to the top.
Let's take a look at the numbers now and how these two stack up against each other numerically. The tail of the tape brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Just for Men, more than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. You take a look at Johnson, now 34 years old, at a 4-inch disadvantage in the tail of the tape. Everything else just about even, but Harding will try to use that height advantage and the slight reach advantage that he has to make it an easier fight for him here tonight. So we are just about ready for the battle for the USBA Championship. Eric Harding, Glen Johnson up to the ring now for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, Goossen Tudor Boxing in association with Final Forum Inc. is proud to present to you the main event of the evening. 12 rounds for the USBA Light Heavyweight Championship. Your judges appointed at ringside scoring this bout will be Melvina Lathan, George DeGabriel, Tom Kazmarek, and your referee and man in charge when the bell rings will be Arthur McCanty Jr. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to separate the men from the boys. Are you ready to box on Fox? Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 173.5 pounds with a record of 38 wins, 9 losses, 1 draw, with 27 of those wins coming by big-time knockout. He's ranked number 9 with the USBA from Miami, Florida, Glen Johnson. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 174.5 pounds, with a record of 21 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked 7th on the IBF, 8th with the WBC, number 9 on the WBO. He is from the mean streets of Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen, Eric Harding.
Good evening, gentlemen. You both received the rules earlier tonight by the New York State Athletic Commission. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you.
All right, let's take a look at the ABC rules. And there is no 3 knockdown rule in this fight, as there was earlier tonight, but for this title bout there will not be. No standing 8 count. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If we go to the foul rule, it will be going to the scorecards after the 4th round. Prior to that, it would be ruled a no contest. Eric Harding, white trunks, Glen Johnson in the black. And Johnson from Jamaica originally, and Eric Harding from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Harding the southpaw, Johnson coming forward. He wants to pressure Eric Harding here tonight.
Pressure is the name of the game for him, but that's the way he fights. He says his style is more of a boxer-puncher, but I can tell you from watching him in his career, he likes a lot of pressure. His best punch, he says the left hook, is a great Philadelphia weapon. Everybody uses that. Eric Harding, of course, from Philadelphia, he knows how to survive those left hook punches.
By the way, if you're wondering when you see Eric Harding, and you may have already noticed the tattoos on the back, that is not some commercial advertisement. Harding, legs spread wide.
He says, I'm versatile.
Unorthodox. Just, he can be a real pesky kind of opponent because he's always flicking out that right jab in your face. Not necessarily with bad intentions, but a lot of times just as kind of a range finder.
That's a vexing punch. Punch also from southpaws come at you at different angles. All of a sudden you get hit with a right jab, left cross, right hook, as opposed to a left jab, right cross, left hook. That's a good combination, and Harding will do that all night. He'll pick him and then he'll move. Also against southpaw fighters, Johnson should be moving to his left or around behind that southpaw stance. Cut the ring and then throw the combinations.
Arthur McCanny, third man in the ring. Arthur McCanny Jr., son of the great referee Arthur McCanny Sr., who refereed so many of the big fights in boxing history, including Frazier Ali, the fight of the century in 1971. Patterson and Johansson in 1960. And referee Arthur McCanny Jr. has also had his share of big bouts, including the unification bout between Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis just down the road at Madison Square Garden when they fought in their famous fight a few years ago.
Terrific referee, carrying on his father's name. You know, his father wrote a terrific book, too, to help young referees, those who aspire to be the third man in the ring. Eric is called the Magic Man. There he is on the right of your screen. Harding says, I'm a magic man because opponents stand in front of me and I make them disappear. Only 7 KOs in his 21 wins. Not known as a knockout artist. Johnson, 27 KOs in his 38 victories.
You mentioned that Johnson fought Bernard Hopkins, but also fought the current super middleweight champion Sven Ottke, and that was a much closer fight when he fought for that title, losing a decision as the bell brings us to the end of round number 1. We see Glen Johnson going back to his corner, and let's get Sean's scouting reports on both these fighters.
And for Glen Johnson, he is always well-conditioned, a consummate professional, tough and durable, always strong. He's had 2 world title shots. Sven Ottke you talked about, and then Bernard Hopkins, a fight where he says he learned a great deal, and he brings that kind of experience into this fight with him. Facing Eric Harding, who is a left-hander, good skills and mobility. He lacks power, as we just talked about. Good counter-puncher. He is a solid fighter, can fight at close range. Some years back, hit by a bullet in the streets of Philadelphia at 22. He has overcome that, and he doesn't cry. He is a tough young man. Eric Harding.
But has been in a great mood this week, very relaxed, affable, in good humor. He's looking forward to this bout this evening.
Always a big smile on his face, even if he has a set of green rubber teeth. How about that?
Round 2 is scheduled for 12 here on Fox Sports Net. And the Sunday night fights coming your way from Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. Great little sports restaurant, watering hole. A lot of the local athletes and famous athletes stop in here.
Oh yeah, and great to be in New York. Well, the great history of boxing in the New York area.
Now Johnson really coming away, wailing away with the left hand.
Look at that left hook to the body. He is pounding it in there. Great weapon.
He is really looking for that left hook to the body. Does he see something there, do you think, Sean?
Yeah, the ribs. I think he sees a potato pie over there. He's going after it. Look at the strings on the back of his trunks.
Again with that left hook to the body by Johnson, but he's been double and tripling up on it. There you see 2 more.
Yeah, what Harding has to do.
Counter off of that?
Oh yeah, he just did. Counter with the right hook. Also got to use your speed. When somebody's coming in like that, as Johnson is, you got to use your speed. Uppercuts will work well too. You have to do something to keep him from rushing in like that. It was a big punch, but it missed. We saw the angle of it from this side.
Johnson putting the power into his punches in this round.
Putting the power, but really not hitting the mark yet. He's got an elusive target in front of him. Still early this fight. Both fighters know that. Both are wily veterans.
Johnson is the more heavier-handed of the two, and it's clear, I think you can see that just from the way that they throw punches.
Yeah, and look at the strength. Look at the muscles in the back from Johnson. That's how strong he is. Able to maneuver his opponent around, kind of push Harding where he wants him. Now Harding doesn't want to tie up with him this whole fight. He wants to utilize some of the holding and the strength in these early rounds just to wear down Johnson. Break his strategy.
Harding hasn't fought since that loss to Antonio Tarver last July. That's a 10-month layoff. Do you see that as a significant factor?
Not yet. As this fight develops, it may be. We're going to have to readdress that, I think, in the middle rounds. We should look, not so far. It's still early, plenty of time. It is a 12-round fight. For Johnson, he is starting earlier because, remember, he wants a knockout tonight.
Johnson not rushing Harding now, but he was earlier in the round. Harding trying to get that jab back to work once again as we come to the end of round 2 here on Fox Sports Net.
Motorcycle financing can have a funny way of changing on you when you don't expect it. So keep your eyes open and get a straight deal that doesn't change with financing that's as solid as a Honda. 0 down payment, 0 payments for the first 3 months, and lock in a low 6.9% fixed APR for up to 5 years on any new Honda motorcycle, scooter, personal watercraft, or ATV. Monthly payments that don't change. That's a straight deal. And right now, get up to $300 in bonus bucks on select models at your local Honda dealer today.
Every day, Western Union provides many possibilities for you to send money to the people you care about. That's why Western Union has over 150,000 agent locations across the globe. Because we understand when you're helping a loved one who's just starting out, you're sending more than just money. Western Union, in person, by phone, by internet, uniting people with possibilities.
Party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. The best damn sports show period every weeknight at 8 p.m. and late night only on Fox Sports Net. Here on Fox Sports Net tonight, you're watching Eric Harding in the white trunks and Glen Johnson in the black trunks, going 12 rounds for the USBA light heavyweight title. I'm sure they'd like to have a belt, but what's really important is that the winner of this one really jumps into the title sweepstakes, and that's what they're looking for.
Oh, sure. They're just one step away if they can win this fight. And both of them fighting like that. I think Harding did not expect such an early start from Johnson. Had to turn it up the last round. But watch how Johnson starts off the first part of the round, and he is real strong. As the round continues, Harding sometimes gets the best of him and slows him down.
Earlier tonight, we watched Jason Gavern in a 4-round heavyweight battle and Jay Hobbs in his pro debut, fight to a draw. And we saw Malcolm Tan score a 1-round knockout over Wallace McDaniel. And Tan now 6-0 and beginning to advance up the ladder.
I think Malcolm tanned him. What a shot. Big left hook.
Yeah, but he's got a chance. And each of these two men have a chance to maybe fight for the title. Probably more likely, at least immediately, and for Eric Harding, if he can get an impressive win here tonight. Good right hand by Harding as he was backing up a little bit, and he still managed to get some power into that punch.
Good right hook. They were telling Harding between rounds to turn him. Continue to step around Johnson. Johnson, a unilateral fighter. He moves in forward. He's very strong forward. But if you go laterally with him, it gives him a little bit of confusion.
Harding, excellent record, holds victories, remember, over Montel Griffin, former light heavyweight champion, George Khalid Jones, very good fighter, and Antonio Tarver. He's 1-1 with Tarver, and he'd love that rubber match.
And the first time he fought him, he just completely destroyed him. Knocking down Tarver and really just taking the fight to him. That back in June of 2000, Biloxi, Mississippi. Antonio was then the #1 contender. jab from Johnson. Johnson could use an explosion or two. Going at the same speed and then explodes.
He's 34 years old. How many explosions are left in that body? We may find out tonight.
Take me fishing, because our boat's cooler than any video game.
Take me fishing and make me feel 16 again.
Take me fishing because I miss my boy.
It's golf season, and the Empire Sports Network hits them hard and hits them straight. Each week, join Ginger Jeffrey and golf pro Cindy Miller as they go out on the course to help improve your game. For the beginner to the everyday golfer to the expert, golf tips will make your bogeys into birdies and your birdies into eagles, and even make your game more enjoyable. Golf Tips, brought to you by the Golf Channel. Each week, look for golf tips only on Fan TV and only on the Empire Sports Network.
Glen Johnson was cut near the end of round 3. Eric Harding was cut near the end of round 3, and a fairly significant cut, it looked like to me. And
bad play.
I called Arthur Mercanti over and asked him, was that a headbutt cut? And he said, no, it's not a headbutt. So that puts Harding in a difficult situation now, because if the fight is stopped due to that cut, they're not going to go to the scorecards. It would just be a TKO victory for Glen Johnson.
So for that reason, Harding may have to change his strategy in this fight. Remember, he was saying he wanted to just work 12 rounds and get a victory. But I'll tell you something. Harding in his corner has Al Gavin. Al Gavin is one of the premier cutmen in boxing. This guy does a great job at stopping the bleeding in any cut.
Speaking of Al Gavin, he has been the chief trainer before for Eric Harding, but he made a switch this time. Harding decided to stay in Connecticut and train, and used Pepe Vasquez as his chief trainer this time, although Gavin is still in his corner. This time Pepe was kind of calling the shots for him.
Really trying to pep him up, isn't he?
Sean, what should Harding do with that cut? Should he make a significant change of strategy, do you think, at this point, or not?
Follow the directions of his corner. My feeling is he's not a knockout puncher. He has to be very defensive now. He's got to protect that eye. Look how he carries his right hand down. He carries it down by his waist. You got to wrap it up over that eye. I've been cut many times. There's no pain to being cut. Pain will be tomorrow, but there's no pain tonight. You don't even know you're cut until your corner tells you.
Yeah, but it's bothersome, is it not? We see fighters pawing at that blood and distracted by it.
If it's bleeding, it's bothersome. If it's not bleeding, it normally isn't bothersome. You can sometimes feel the swelling up there, but these two fighters are so busy in the ring, they don't even know what's happening with their own bodies. They're so busy concentrating and focusing. Now, between rounds, they may tell Harding, you've got to try for the knockout. I doubt it, though, because they realize he's not a KO puncher. You have to protect that eye, though.
Good right hand lead by Glen Johnson.
And if you're Glen Johnson, you zero on that eye. Look at that blood and use it as a target. Also, try to throw your punches where you twist your hands right on the end, right at the point of contact. Try to open it wider. Just the beauty of the sport of boxing. And these fighters in there, both of them are desperate. Believe me.
All right, we're coming to the end of round 4 of what is now a growingly even more interesting fight due to the cut factor on Eric Harding. End of 4.
Round 5, round 5. But you could do 10 times better. Hey, we could fade away with that jab. Remember that jab? Let him come in.
Watch their heads, how close they come together. Watch what happens when these two move together. All night, Glen Johnson has been forcing the action. He's been moving in, and that was a headbutt to the chin. There is the headbutt to the eye. That is over the right eye. And is a bad position. In fact, between rounds, Lorenzo de Clemente and Pepe Vasquez said it was a headbutt.
Let that left hand go. Put that right hand. You hurt him down there. Nice work. To the back.
Well, referee Arthur Buchanan did not call it a headbutt. Whether it was a headbutt or not, and it does look like it, they're not going to go by that.
Well, the corner complained of it to the referee, who said it was not a headbutt, it was a punt.
So again, Eric Harding, if that cut gets too bad, is in danger of being stopped on cuts. On a cut here tonight. He did not go to the scorecards in that situation. Wow, now Harding trying to get his right jab to work here, Sean.
Look how loose Glen Johnson is. He senses something happening.
Well, I thought he fought better in that round. I think he was excited, frankly, by the sight of blood on his opponent. Whoa, he got him turned around on that sequence.
Blood not dripping from that cut over Harding's right eye. It's in a bad place, too. It's underneath the eyebrow, yet over the eyelid.
Nice right as he's backing away by Eric Harding.
A nice movement. This is the way that he's got to fight now. Eric has muscular and then move. And you got to move with lateral movement.
Well, he's a slick, clever guy, and he can move in there.
This is what he has to do all night. He cannot get excited. Remain composed.
You know, you never know how a fighter necessarily is going to handle a particularly adverse situation. I can recall when a great champion, Chiquita Gonzalez, got cut for the first time in his career. He was champion then by a guy named Rolando Pasqua. He did not have any clue as to how to handle it, and he fell apart once he got cut, and he lost the title.
A good trainer will practice this with those fighters in the gym, not actually getting cut, but what happens if you're cut? You got to get on your bicycle. I had in one of my early fights, I had a 15-round fight. I got cut in the first 2 rounds. Bad cuts over both eyes. I had to box just like Eric Harding is doing, and you had to do that all night. One chance that you let down, and Glen Johnson is looking for that open window of opportunity.
Johnson driving the right hand to the body. Until that point, Harding fighting a beautiful round, boxing very well, showing angles, moving Johnson around actually, but Johnson finding a little bit of success now here in the last few seconds.
Yeah, but you can't get excited if you're Harding. Keep your focus, keep moving, use your legs, walk around your opponent, turn him, and use that jab. If a southpaw is jabbing, he is going to be hard to beat.
There's the right hand by Johnson, and a good one. Harding getting back to boxing basics here. Trying to outbox Glen Johnson because of that cut. We come to the end of round 5.
Every time I look in the mirror, I'm reminded of what cigarettes did to me. 30 years of smoking, not listening when they said I should quit. I finally listened when they said I had cancer. I wasn't the only one who suffered. It almost destroyed my family. Tobacco nearly destroyed my life. Don't let it destroy yours. Talk to your kids about not smoking. If you smoke, quit. Remember, the best way to stop is to never start.
Tomorrow's gridiron stars lay it all on the line for a chance to prove to the world they belong. The Scottish Claymores, the Amsterdam Admirals, the NFL's black and blue proving ground. NFL Europe, live Saturday on Empire.
Oh, goodness!
Gentlemen, Glen Johnson is just looking for that one opportunity. There's a missed opportunity. He's waiting for the window to be open one time, and there he throws. He connects there. But Eric Harding shows his resiliency, pulling away from the punch, pulling the power out of the punch. This is beautiful work from Eric Harding. Turn him, use your jab. Don't go for the knockout. Take your time. You got 12 rounds to deal with. Just maneuver around your opponent. Let him swing in air. shot, this fight could be over. Glen Johnson's got that kind of power.
Glen Johnson is pot-shotting him here without really setting up anything, Sean. Is that okay strategy on his part? He's looking for the big Sunday shot.
I think he's going to have a difficult time right now doing that. Perhaps later in the fight. Right now, I think his concentration should be on putting the combinations together real fast, try to get your punches to your opponent. Also, you sometimes lull your opponent into this sense of security. You hit him with a couple of easy punches. They think, oh, it's going to be easy punches all night, and that's when you lower the boom.
That went straight a little bit low, that right hand to the body by Johnson, but Mercani let it slide. Harding not working the same way that he did in the last round.
No, he's not turning him. Remember, that's the key in this fight for Eric Harding. If Johnson can get in front of you and get a little bit of momentum, he'll destroy you. Look at those body shots from Glen.
Eric needs to throw punches and bunches. He's a good combination thrower. We're not seeing him in this round. We saw him in the last round.
He's got to throw him while he's moving. In the gym, you practice punching while moving. You're doing the fight what you practice in the gym.
It looks as though Glen Johnson's in another close fight.
Yeah. He's having a better round in this one than he was in that fifth.
But, you know, he gets very serious about it, Glen Johnson, about the fact that he seems to always show up on the short end of those majority decisions and split decisions. And he says, you know, really, I mean, because they're taking it affects my family. They're taking money away from me. And you know, from that sense, he's correct, because it's losses that end up on his, or draws, as his last fight with Daniel Judah was, and a split decision loss to Julio Garcia in the fight before that.
But he's also a fighter who fights a lot on television, so people see that he always comes to fight and he puts up a good scrap. Look at him in here. And these are close rounds. Last couple. Around this one, gentleman, Glen Johnson.
On May 30th.
You getting anything there, Chatty?
No, nothing.
All the stories you heard around the campfire.
Hello? Anyone up there?
Let's keep moving.
Hey guys, hold up!
Are coming true. Wrong Turn. Rated R.
We're all gonna die.
May 30th, only in theaters.
What's good?
Sam? Subway's new Italian urban cheese. The taste will bring you to your knees. Garlic, oregano, rosemary spice, fresh baked with Monterey and cheddar cheeses. So nice. Great bread makes a sandwich a true taste delight. You'll see for yourself with just one bite. Step right up. No one makes them like Sam. Whether a BMT, meatball, or my favorite, ham.
I told you he was the one to ask.
Subway, eat fresh!
And there's one of the real popular rappers, Fat Joe, enjoying the fights tonight here at Jimmy's Bronx Cafe.
Now, where
enjoying all of the gastronomic delights available to the fans.
Wherever did Joe get a name like that? Joe's been at the training table too much, huh? Oh, good combination from Eric.
Yeah, he comes out fast.
Had to do something to turn the tide from the last round.
Well, he seemed to take the last round off. Although Johnson may have had something to do about that. To me, they've been alternating rounds. That's the way it's been looking to me. And each man trying to assert his will on the other here in round 7.
Seesaw battle, and look how this round Glen Johnson is closing the gap. This is the gentleman.
Well, I have the fight even at this point, 3 rounds apiece.
The tide may be turning. Eric Harding looking for some magic now. He has to get back to his speed and utilize the lateral movement.
Very important fight for both these gentlemen. The gentleman, Glen Johnson, says, I've got to shoot for the gold. I'm 34 years old. If I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it. I've had 2 world title shots. I want to get a 3rd one. I've got those 3 kids, and I need to provide for them. Eric Harding, really same kind of deal. He had the big opportunity against Roy Jones, and frankly, he did pretty well against Roy Jones. He actually did something nearly every fighter who fights Jones is unable to do, and that's win some rounds along the way from Jones. But Jones overall great, magnificent talent and speed, and a torn bicep to Harding held out the finish for Harding, which was to be stopped after 10 rounds.
The fight back in September of 2000, he said, I wasn't afraid. I had to do what I wanted to do. So without being afraid, I knew I had to put up a fight, and he did. He knew what to expect from Johnson. He says he's in your face, and Glen is. Fight plan for Harding tonight, hit him as many times and not let him hit me. That's a pretty good fight plan.
Well, Glen Johnson, quite obviously, Sean had an idea of how he wanted to fight here tonight, a real game plan, and he's sticking to it.
You know, that's so vital, so important for fighters. So many fighters lose their fight plan. They know what they need to do. They know how to beat a fighter. The real magic in boxing is learning how to beat every fighter out there.
Johnson keeps coming forward, and after that earlier flurry at the beginning of the round from Harding, again, he's kind of lessened his output.
Big right hand from Johnson.
So we come to the end of round 7, 5 rounds to go for the USBA light heavyweight title.
And I was like, what am I going to do? And we went on this the other day, and all these girls started getting rid of like how like my milkshake is, and it's all like.
Sauce is thicker than water. Gather up the family for Denny's Barbecue Days. Taste our hickory smoked St. Louis-style ribs covered in rich barbecue sauce. Or for $6.99, try our tangy barbecue chicken deluxe, one of 4 great new meals. Check out Denny's Barbecue Days. You can't help but smile. Denny's, a good place to sit and eat.
There's Frezakendo, who you've seen on several occasions here on the Sunday Night Fights. Finds himself now a top 10 ranked heavyweight. He's really advanced a lot further than a lot of people, myself included, ever thought he would at the beginning of his career, I must admit.
Tremendous ability. He has the lateral movement, that Eric Harding is hoping he keeps in this fight.
Another cut is opened on Harding, and referee Arthur Mercandi came over between rounds and said unintentional headbutt. So he's getting busted up a little bit. Mercandi going to bring Glen Johnson back to the corner.
Taping up their gloves. The tape on those gloves gets water under it, sweat underneath the tape, and it pulls apart, so they're just retaping it.
Let me ask you this, Sean.
Make sure not to tape it into the rope there. It's a dangerous thing. By your trainer's support.
You see the cut on the left eye now of Eric Harding. That's the one opened by the unintentional headbutt.
Equally in a bad position. He's also got one underneath the eyebrow on the right side of the head.
Which was the original cut. That was back in round 3.
I'd like to see him pull his hands up higher. He keeps his hands down by his waist, Eric does. Which is fine sometimes. For a good professional, you can pull it off. Sometimes put them up there around your face. Give your opponent a different look.
I think Eric, to me, the 10-month layoff is having a little bit of an effect here. I think he's not as sharp as we normally see him.
Sure notice it now, don't you? Sure notice it now. A little bit slow during these middle rounds. Mouth is wide open for Eric. Have to close that mouth, and he's getting beat up. Cuts over both eyes. He has to get back to what was working back in that 3rd and 4th and 5th round, and that is turn his opponent, throw the uppercuts. A little bit winded here in this round.
Glen Johnson looks like he's in fine shape tonight, so these are going to be tough rounds ahead. Right hand to the body, Johnson. Johnson looking for a big one here. He almost leaped forward at Harding.
Johnson's last fight back in April. Daniel Buda. So he's a busy fighter. Before that, he fought back in January. Always gets the call and always puts up a good fight. Glen Johnson. Look how loose he is here.
Yeah, well, I just think he feels encouraged by the way things are going here.
Of course he does. And he's also trying to pump more wind into his body. You know, he's relaxed, he's loose. I like this way that he fights. I like this a lot better than the struggling way that he fights occasionally. Just a...
Glen Johnson, born in Jamaica, came to the United States when he was 14 years of age. Says he has fond memories of those childhood days. I was a happy kid in Jamaica. And he'd be happy tonight as an adult if he could win at the age of 34 over the likes of Eric Harding. It could happen. 4 rounds to go.
Our son and daughter are going to be married. We're stuck with each other.
Yeah. Steve may love his son. Jerry may love his daughter.
Can you tell me what your dad really does?
I'm not allowed to say for the CIA.
But on May 23rd, he's unstable or possibly worse. They're getting a wedding to remember.
Wow.
Michael Douglas, Albert Brooks.
This was the worst wedding we have ever been to.
We should thank Jerry. He put it all together.
The In-Laws, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, May 23rd.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go.
Oven mitt.
5.
Who's this?